the green is out. Here we go. Kanan takes off. Cunningham falls to second.
And Tony got a comfortable start there. I think he was probably happy to see Wade Cunningham alongside him, and he'll slot into that position and hope that he doesn't see that Penske powered car or Will Power coming up behind him.
Three abreast racing through corner number 1. Down the backstretch, battle for second position. Power looks to the outside of Wade Cunningham off of corner 4.
And Wade Cunningham, considering he's never driven this car.
It'd be interesting to know if he's even comfortable in it. I'm sure they have to change everything quickly.
He's hanging in there, considering that's pretty brave duty right there. But he's doing the right thing by staying low. They're going to be in less trouble by being low.
Ryan Hunter-Ray goes around him.
And what's interesting too, we've got the nighttime conditions now. And how is that going to change the cars? Typically it gives you that bit more downforce, and I think that's really going to bunch up the field. But Tony's getting away a little bit, but I would expect Will Power to reel him in pretty quickly. Hunter-Ray really is, moving forward as well, which that's great for the Andretti Autosport cars.
Tony Kanaan had led the first 6 laps, but now he's got Will Power going side by side. Here comes Will Power trying to pull up Anders on him. So suddenly we saw Tony Kanaan give up what was an 8, 10, maybe 12 car length lead to Will Power, who pulled up on him very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like the power car is really hooked up now, and maybe the slightly colder, denser air here is helping them out. And let's see if he can challenge for the lead here. It could be interesting.
He's going to pop to the outside once again, Mark, as they head to turn number 1. Will Power going to try to challenge that Geico car.
Awfully tough for people to pull even through 1 and 2, but he can't leave the bottom of the racetrack open because right there's the sun drop machine of Ryan Hunter-Ray. Ray wants the bottom of the racetrack. Now he'll tuck into the tire tracks of Will Power. Neither one of them going to be able to get to the bottom to get around Tony Kanaan because Mike, he's got it glued to the white line all the way around.
Yeah, let's remember that Ryan Hunter-Ray started 5th. He's already challenged for 2nd, up to 3rd very quickly here as we're showing 8 of 114 laps complete, a little farther back in the pack. Elio Castroneves runs 4th. Paul Tracy is 5th. Graham Rahal has dropped to 6th. Wade Cunningham, who started on the outside of the front row, is 7th. James Hinchcliffe is 8th. Alex Tagliani is 9th. And Jay Howard is currently running 10th. Leaders already off of turn number 4 through the first kink in the front straight. Here they come. Will Power running just behind Tony Kanaan. Ryan Hunter-Ray runs 3rd here at 1.
Will Power tries to dance to the high side, can't get the job done. Ryan Hunter-Ray wants the bottom of the racetrack to try to grab that 2nd spot. He swings wide as Power stays in the tire tracks at TK. Now he moves up half a groove on TK, goes to the high side through turn number 4.
Will Power was in the mix at the end of the first race as he winds up 3rd behind the Target Chip Ganassi Racing teammates. Doesn't want to find himself in that position here in the second twin. As Mark James, he's less than a car length off the rear wing of Tony Kanaan.
I know it's only half the points, but the big advantage early on in this second race has to go to Will Power. He's in the points championship battle with Dario Franchitti. Power got the luck of the draw. He started up front, battling for first place now with Tony Kanaan. Meanwhile, Dario still mired around 27th place.
Yep, so Tony Kanaan, as we mentioned, out in front. But Mark, as you said, the points championship certainly of much consideration for Will Power at this point, as he's got the possibility of perhaps picking up a lot of points on Dario Franchitti, who scored big in race number 1 here tonight and earns 27 points. So Dario Franchitti with the 2 bonus points and the 25 points for winning. I believe he has either moved into a tie or has taken the lead in the championship.
From high overhead, Texas Motor Speedway, there you see on the far left of your screen, Tony Kanaan, the leader. Right behind him, Will Power. Then comes the yellow and white car of Ryan Hunter-Ray and the blue and white car of Elio Castroneves. And running in the 5th position is Ryan Briscoe. And all those cars are pretty close together. In fact, they're running within about 9/10 of a second. Make that 8/10 of a second.
And that pack has caught the first 4 cars, so it's going to get interesting here. You can see Ryan Hunter-Ray seems to be struggling with his car, pushing up off of the corners, and that's allowed, Elio and like I said, the pack to catch up. So it's going to get interesting here in a little bit.
Dario Franchitti is up to 18th position after starting 28th. Since 2003, Dario has started 21st or worse just 3 times, and the last time he started 28th was at the 2002 Indianapolis 500. Power is about to take the lead at the end of the backstretch, or is he? Oh, good wheel-to-wheel racing for the lead.
Still there.
And you can see just edged up off the corners to make it more difficult for Will, but these two are going to run each other close, and they're doing that at speeds in excess of 210 miles an hour. You watch as Will's going to try and use the side drop. what, just as they come out the pits, there's a lap car, but Will just can't quite complete the pass.
That was Sebastian Saavedra, who was on pit exit.
And what can help Will here is if Elio Castroneves gets right up behind him and helps to push him past
Here he comes.
Tony Kanaan.
He's going to get some help from his teammate, and that's exactly what we talked about when we had a chance to see some of those computations about the weight coming off the back of the car. You can get help from behind, and the reason he's getting so close on the side, he's got him.
He's completed the pass. And what's happening here with this inverted grid, or this grid system, the random draw, is you happen to have got 3 Penske's now in the top 4. Ganassi cars are not going to like that, and Dario certainly isn't. And Marco, I don't know what it is about Marco in this racetrack, but he loves the high line. You never see him on the low line. Certainly whenever I've been racing with him, you never expect to hear inside Andretti. You always expect to see or hear outside. He's definitely a high line kind of guy in traffic.
Do you know the pattern like that on just about all the major contenders?
Yeah, you do. The more you race in Indy cars and the longer we've been together, each driver has a trait. Marco is very good on cold tires. He's very good on the high line. Will Power runs you very, very close, but tends to be fair. You know, EJ Viso, and I don't mean this in too disrespectful manner, is a little bit unpredictable. There's different things. Dario Franchitti, I always feel very comfortable working with. Scott Dixon, there's a lot of different traits, and that's a huge advantage. The more experience you have to understand that about any given driver, gives you an advantage.
Now what you heard there, Bob, you heard some calls for pits. You're going to have some of the leaders. Graham Rahal, one of those, heading on to pit lane. This is going to make a big difference, and Will Power onto pit road.
Power relinquishes the lead here on lap number 51 to make his pit stop. Down to Kevin Lee.
Will Power coming down pit road right in front of him. James Hinchcliffe is in his stall right now. Power at 60 miles an hour. He should have a clear exit because Hinchcliffe will be gone as he comes in. Hinchcliffe exits, and now Will Power is in. 4 tires, the Sunoco fuel stop. They're not making any changes. They liked the car the first time. He started up front, so he was able to go with the same type of setup he had in race number 1, and Power is back out into the fight.
Tony Kanaan gives up the lead as Elio Castroneves takes it over momentarily. Oh, and a mix-up here on pit lane. It's James Jakes in the 18. Kanaan getting service. Lindy.
And Tony Kanaan was asked before he came in, how does the car feel? He had one word, it feels good. You see he got 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. In between the 2 races, just some little tweaks there on his car. Good in traffic, not so good alone. Elio Castroneves is in. He is fighting a little bit of understeer, just like he was in race 1. Still a lot better situation than the car felt yesterday. Tim Cindric told me Elio will be more aggressive. There you see Ryan Briscoe came in for his stop as well. He made very small changes. There's Elio right in front of him. Very small changes in between those 2 races, Kevin.
Scott Dixon exiting his pit stall. He comes in, routine stop. Dixon has liked his car so far. He started farther back than what he's used, but he was able to work his way up into the top 5 before we cycle through here in our first round of stops.
Briscoe just past Castroneves there, so he's going to want to try and catch up to Power, and Tony Kanaan looks like he's going to go around the outside of Castroneves.
Yeah, good battle back there between Kanaan on the left and Ryan Briscoe on the right.
Castroneves' car definitely not as good after the pit stop. He could not stay with Will Power. Ryan Briscoe, now that he's clear, is flying, and Tony Kanaan wants to take advantage of that.
And I'm gonna show you guys something here. You can look at Will Power's RPM lights right there. Now that car and engine are working in the perfect range. You'll see he's just keeping on 1 light. What they do as engineers, they try and keep it within a very small window. The maximum RPM is 10,300, and the minimum you want to drop to is about 9.9. And with those lights, I can tell that that's working in just the range that the Penske team will want the car to be working in. So that's very positive.
Good stuff. Team Penske is running 1, 2, 3, Kevin.
And Will Power started in the 3rd position, and he's running up front now. He ran up front all last race, liked the car. He didn't have to make any changes, and he's up there right now. It's a big opportunity at the points for Will Power. His lead is down to 7 over Dario Franchitti, Lindy.
And we saw Ryan Briscoe just passed his teammate Helio Castroneves. He finished 6th in the last race, started 12th this time. He has spent a lot of time talking to Rick Mears, who won both races in the last duel here 30 years ago. Right behind him, teammate Helio Castroneves. He says he is really loose in turn 2, and as Jan said, you can tell he is just not as strong since his last pit stop. Tim Cindric told me they waited until they saw what he drew, which was starting 6th, and then they set their downforce according to that draw. Obviously, he has no idea how it feels until he's out there.
Dixon's coming hard. Simona Di Silvestro on the number 78 machine gets to the bottom of the racetrack, gives Will Power plenty of room. Now she moves up just a little bit, and Power has to lift some. Scott Dixon is coming hard, Mike, at the exit of turn 4.
And Will Power looks like could get bottled up. Will he get bottled up behind some lap traffic now with under 3 laps remaining, Mark, as he hits the U in turn number 2.
Yeah, that's the 59 machine of Vizo, the 14 machine of Vitor Mira, and the number 24 machine of Anna Beatrice. All are running in front of Will Power as he exits turn number 4. They're about 10 car lengths in front of him.
So Will Power will come off of turn number 4. The same question for Powers, the same question for Dixon. The lap traffic, how will it come into play as Dixon tries to work his way around Simona Di Silvestro, leader in front of you, Mark, in 2.
Simona holds her line to the bottom side. No problem for Dixon. Now he's got nothing but clean racetrack in front of he and Will Power. The lap's winding down. Does Dixon have enough time, and will traffic come into play for Will Power?
Man, did he close the gap big time in the back straight. 113 laps are going to be shown complete. White flag is out for the race leader, Will Power. Scott Dixon closing fast. Mark Jane's final lap there at 1.
The 3 cars in front of him again. The 59 machine, the 14 machine, the 24 machine of Anna Beatrice. I don't think he's going to have enough time, Mike. A pretty sizable advantage for Will Power. He's going to finally shake loose of the demons on the ovals as he exits turn number 4.
3 lap cars in front of Will Power. Here comes Scott Dixon closing the gap. He's not going to have enough time. The man from down under has claimed victory here at Texas Motor Speedway for the 7th time. Team Penske will roll into victory lane, and Will Power beats Scott Dixon to the line by 94 hundredths of a second.